welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
And absent, we need God. Because only God can bring us out of this mess.
Good morning, good morning. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. First name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it. For the long haul, baby. So, what this stuff is on me? The election has just happened, and there are some interesting developments already. I was watching the news, and it seems like Ivan Bates has not been sworn in and is already being called on the carpet. Where they do that at? He has not even been sworn in, and they done thrown him in the middle of a fight already. Imagine that. They were grilling Ivan Bates already. He has not been sworn in yet. He still has a general election to go to. Now, it's safe to presume that Ivan Bates more than likely will win. I thought Roya Hanna jumped out the race because she's going to get clobbered if she stays in that race. This is a 2-to-1 Democratic state where the winner of the primary tends to win the general. Now, we saw in the governor's race back in 14 and 18 where that didn't hold up. Democrats got spanked. As a matter of fact, the only Democratic rule in the past 22 years has been the 8 years of Martin O'Malley. Anyway, how you doing out there? Hope all is well. Just wanted to go through some of the election results. Now, there was one race. Now, we brought on this show Irvin Reed. And Irvin Reed was supporting a lady for sheriff, Miss Mayo. But John D.B. Carr did win that sheriff's race. And he got 50% of the votes, too. Irvin's candidate, Laurelyn Mayo, and this is for sheriff in Prince George's County. She came in second place. She got 22% of the votes. So we'd love to catch up with Irvin Reed to get an update on that. We were also watching some Senate races in the I messed that name up, 23rd or the 26th. Bear with me, folks. The 23rd. So anyway, in the 26th district, the winner was, am I looking right? Oh, this is House of Delegates, no wonder. Anyway, just, looking over some of the results. Implementation has been happening already. Let's see who's saying hello. Segawa Abbey. Peace, brother. Let me go back to Prince George's County. What I was looking for is the Senate race down there. Congress. So have you been following up? Let me tell you, it is a lot to staying abreast of. Okay, here's the race I was looking for. Sylvia Johnson came in third. Ron Watson spanked in the 23rd. I think that was her first time out. And so let's go over some basics. Tampa Bay, here's some basics if you're running for office. Because there have been a lot of people that have gotten out there. Ooh, first you need prayer. You need to make sure that this is what the good Lord wants for you if you're running for office. Because it's no easy feat. It's the hardest thing on earth. One of the hardest things on earth. I would imagine my dad used to say getting married was one of the most stressful things. Going to war, no question, that's stressful for soldiers. So is running the campaign. And I put a campaign up there. Riku! I put a political campaign up there with running decathlon. I would put running for office up there with running a decathlon. Because there's so many things you have to be good at one time. But the first thing I would advise for new candidates is to pray about it. You have to get your spirit together. And this is presuming that you have the physicality to go out there and knock on doors in the heat, snow, rain. Urban Reed talks about campaigning in all weather. All weather. Once you set your mind, say, I'm running for this office, put the date on your calendar. Yes, you need a calendar. Put it up on your wall. Put the election date. And you work your way back. You got 9 months, you got a year, you got 2 years to get ready. One thing along those lines, I see people just jump in the race. Just jump straight in the race. It's like, did you do any research? Did you see who else was running? Do you know who has been winning that district? Do you know who tends to get the votes here in the city of Baltimore? The clerk of the court. Now, the longtime clerk of the court was Frank Conaway. And Frank M. Conaway, Sr., that is, he's gone now. Used to be a delegate. And then he wasn't a delegate, and then he ran for clerk. And I don't know the in-betweens. But he was the longest serving clerk. I mean, he was there forever. He owned that office. He had it wasn't an open door policy. It was a no door policy. He took the doors off the hinges. So you could walk. You, the citizen, could walk into his office. I don't know that we'll ever get another politician like Frank Conaway Sr. Charismatic. He had something for all occasions. Words, that is. But he also understood the game of getting elected. And it is a game, a competition, whatever you want to call it. All of those things and some. It's politics. And it can be dirty. It can be cruddy. So if you go into politics, after you got your spirit together, you got to know some things. You got to know the game. You got to study the game, learn the game. And the best way to do that is to be around people, that people in your circle, whom you trust. That's way up on the list. Way up on the list is trust. Martin O'Malley, I can bet you, if he ever runs for office, the very first phone call he makes is to his brother. Why? Because he trusts him. It's his brother. He knows him. If you're running for office, you need someone you can trust, be it your brother, your friend, whomever, but someone you trust. And I would venture to say trust is the most expensive commodity on earth because you cannot buy it. Money can buy you a lot of things. but it can't buy you trust. I saw an article yesterday about Wes Moore, and they're calling him masterful, strategic, but all through the campaign, it was none of that stuff. Now that he has shown his political prowess, his team's prowess, the conversation is changing. It's always interesting how the media can change the complexion of something, often depending on one's complexion. Help me, somebody. Actually, the media was kind to him. Makes me think about when the mainstream media, because remember, Francho was the front runner at first. Oh, Francho can't lose. It's Francho's to lose. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Know who I'm talking to. Oh, Francho can't lose. Francho, Francho, Francho. Francho, Francho, Francho. Experts. No, man, you can't beat Francho. I told him. He's got an untested jaw. That means he ain't never been hit in it. It's one thing when you fighting a bag, a heavy bag. Like Bruce Lee say, boards don't hit back. Totally different story when you're fighting a real person. And they were not ready for Wes Moore. There were a couple of telltale signs through that campaign which lets you know he was going to win. And one was when he had $7 million raised, because people ain't raising that kind of money for governor. They might raise some millions. Dude had $7 million in the middle of the campaign. You know what that does to a component? Raising that money, I can now say this, raising money in a campaign is like throwing body shots. Not the head shots, the body shots. What can your opponent do when they find out that you have $7 million? They hope that you're dumb and don't know how to spend it. You can take a veteran politician who knows the game, who knows who to call, and they don't have to spend that kind of money. I'm thinking about the mayor's race. Veterans, I mean, at the end of the day, they want that money for TV commercials, because as you saw near the end, some of these candidates were dependent solely on the television ads. They didn't have much of a GOTV effort. As you saw at the polls, there were places where there weren't a lot of campaign workers. Personally, I was expecting to see Tom Perez out there much more to have poll coverage. People wearing Tom Perez shirts on the polls, not the signs. Signs don't vote. And when people are getting near that voting poll, the sign, yeah, they see the sign, they don't see the sign. Their mind is on voting. So if you don't have some people out there to say Donnie Glover for governor one more time, what was the point of getting unions? I did raise that question too. I noticed the influence of unions in Baltimore. A lot of people win office because of unions. In my district, I've seen unions give us some of the poorest candidates ever. I've seen unions put people in the race who should not be in the race. Unions don't speak for me. I'm not in the union. And so I was glad to see that although unions are important, unions are not the only voice in this state. The first voice is the citizen. The first and foremost voice is the citizen. If they happen to be in a union, good for them. If they not, that does not mean that they don't count. And this election proved it. The Washington Post, the Baltimore Sun, they both endorsed Perez. Now again, Francho's out there, front runner. He can't lose. He can't lose. I say his jaw has never been tested. He's never been in a fight before. I'll tell you when it was over for Francho is when Deborah Carter, I don't want to be mayor. I want to run Be More News and Black USA and grow the team. Stop distracting me, Michael Haney. Matter of fact, Michael Haney, I'm calling you out. You come on in here and give us some of your election political analysis. You got me all off train of thought. All right, so let's get back to the point. If you're going to run for office, here's one of the biggest pieces of advice, and that's the theme for the day. If you're going to run for office, you can't wait until election year to get out there. Where do these people come from? Now, to Wes Moore's credit, and for some reasons, a lot of people, I guess, didn't know that the man did put in a lot of time here, certainly more than Ben Jealous. Ben Jealous did come out and endorse Wes indirectly, if you ask me. But Wes had wet the ground. You can't just stick the shovel in dry dirt. You got to wet the ground. You can't just, you gotta wet the ground. So that means you got to already be out there. You got to have some type of track record of service to your community. That's why people join and become president of the community association, or an easier way, so to speak, and is the state central committee. That's the position at the very bottom. You don't get paid for it, but you get to learn the process. You get to learn the players. On that note, now that the election is over, find out who your elected officials are and get their phone number, get their email address, however you prefer to communicate, and call them up. You could call them up and say, hey, I don't know who you are, but I see you're my new delegate. Just want to say my name's Doni Glover, and congratulations. And I look forward to seeing you at our next community meeting. You gotta be proactive. As citizens, we have to be proactive. Being proactive, I've shared with you, based on my experiences here in Sandtown, especially as of late, you got to get to know your neighbors. So we're talking about candidates. Now we get over to us, citizens. We got to get to know our neighbors. I got a new neighbor next door. Hi, how you doing? My name's Doni. She told me her name. Wonderful lady. Decent, clean. Glad to have her, especially on this block, full of vacants. And so I also got to meet the neighbor behind me, across the alley. He shared with me some videos that I hadn't seen. Now, imagine if I was a jerk and, I'm out there walking the dog and I only speak to the man. Speak to all my neighbors, those that speak back. You don't speak back, you ain't got to worry about me no more. I like consistency. Speak or don't speak, but don't speak sometime. I ain't playing that sometime thing. But I got to know the neighbor, and he started shooting me. We exchanged numbers, and he started shooting me videos of people in my alley. I hear all of this talk, and I was on Fox yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Fox 45, for being the only news outlet in the city of Baltimore to acknowledge our 20 years at BeMoreNews.com. Our anniversary is coming up. The birthday is actually August the 9th. 20 years. And this news network, BlackUSA.News, is an extension of Be More News. We also have the Prince Georgian. This features the streaming, no doubt. We stream 7 days a week from 7 cities across America, including Los Angeles, Oakland, New York, Baltimore, D.C., and Atlanta. Miami's taking a pause. And our prayers go out to Joey Noble. He had some surgery or some medical situation. I just want us to know that we have a voice. And if we stick together, if we talk to our neighbors, my neighbor across the street, she had an Amazon package out there. We got too many vagrants coming through this block. I grabbed the box. Wasn't heavy. Put it in my vestibule. She came home, saw over there, hey, I took her box. And I said, if you see any box outside my door, grab it. Not that we've had any problems, but we do have a lot of unknowns. That used to be the code word for police in the streets of Baltimore. We got a lot of unknowns walking the streets of Sandtown all hours of the night. And let me tell you something. I'm glad that Mr. Bates plans on enforcing some rules. And it really makes you wonder what in the hell's been going on. Got a new state's attorney coming in, whomever it should be. Presumably Ivan Bates, could be Roy Hanna, whatever. But we, the citizens, don't like the rules not being followed. We got to follow the rules. I don't carry a gun. I can't carry a gun. Why should this cat who's breaking law be carrying a gun? And how many excuses do I have to hear about why you can't get to him? You can't solve that. Tell you something else. Anybody running for mayor is going to have a field day with this. The clearance rate on murders. If you don't arrest the people who are doing the killing, they're going to keep killing, quite likely. Got away with it once. We have a lot of unsolved murders in Baltimore. Now, if they know who the hell because I've heard it said, oh, it's a small group of people. Well, catch them. How do you know it's a small group? If you know who it is, why you ain't got them? And we need to get back to policing. I am not calling for zero tolerance. However, this pendulum that was all the way to the right with Martin O'Malley has now gone all the way to the left, and it's the people who suffer. I think Martin O'Malley was ridiculous, locking people up for sitting on their steps, locking people up for urinating. Nasty. But is it worth locking somebody up? You know what I want to see get locked up? I want to see them people over at Baltimore City School Board headquarters get locked up. That's where I want to see some investigation. I want to know why you making six figures when it look like you ain't doing nothing. I mean, and these are political favor jobs. Be not mistaken. Lots of political favors. That's Baltimore. Baltimore is corrupt. The police is a child molester. The police is a child molester. Now, I defend cops all the time, but this particular police, and nobody knew. The people had to tell a lady that her husband is a child molester. That lady went off. I think she could get temporary insanity or self-defense. Whatever the case, it reminds me of that time that priest got shot 6 times in the city of Baltimore. Nobody wanted to remember it. Everybody was like, shh. People in the church, shh. You know you're a damn pedophile. Why you ain't say something? That's the cruddy stuff that people do. Those are the things that people don't do. Step up to the plate. Hey, that's a pedophile. But the people told that daycare provider, and she went, and they say she found him at a hotel, upscale hotel. What was he doing? And these are just bits and pieces that you get from the news. Yeah, the wife shot his ass. And so did that young man, put 6 in that priest, bust 6 of them and didn't kill him. That was nothing but God. Black people are very spiritual, and we know that was nothing but God. 6 hot ones. In certain countries, they would have chopped his penis off and made him the weak person that he really is. Let it manifest. Messing with little kids. There's a lot of trauma in Baltimore, sexual trauma. All of these prisons, we got one of the highest incarceration rates in the nation. You don't think sexually deviant behavior doesn't come up out of them prisons and come back uptown with these cats and women? Because women get a lot of breaks. Let me tell you, you got a lot of women out here beating on these girls, beating on women. Same way they jumped on the domestic violence, men on women. Let's look at some of these women beating up women. And you know I'm right. I've seen it with my own eyes. I saw this woman out Patterson Park beat this other woman. Oh my God. Woo! In front of people. But you don't want to say nothing. Let's talk about that in that community, LGBTQ community. They got domestic violence. They got pedophiles too. All these little girls out here confused. Got a baby on the hip, but they gay. So much going in the world. Don't be afraid to express yourself. Don't have the media making you feel like you're a chump. You can't speak your mind. I'm sick of people trying to teach 5-year-olds about sex. Mind your damn business. Go teach your child about sex. They want to come on and invoke a curriculum on 5-year-olds. What retarded sons of bitches does that? And we allow it. You better step up. You people call yourselves Christians. You better step up, put your faith in action. You let me find out somebody teaching my 5-year-old about sex. There's going to be a problem, a serious problem, just like them people over there in UVal. They go Michael Haney trying to, I said, bish, B-I-S-H. I said, bish. Well, y'all know my point. You understand where I'm going with all of this. You call yourself a Christian, a child of God, even our Muslim brothers and sisters, because they don't play. You over there trying to teach them. That's why they got their own schools. And we need more of our own schools. We had our own schools. We thought they were segregated. But we learned more with black teachers. I did. They loved us. I think children learn in a nurturing environment. And we understand our people. We had a special ed class right there in the middle of the hallway, but they were in school. They're people too. Early on, the experts know by the age of 8 which way a child is going to go. But those black teachers at Matthew Henson Elementary School, they loved us. Mr. Williams, Mr. Smallwood, Miss Nottingham, Miss Parks, Hilda Brown, Miss Frisbee was the principal. I remember a white man named Mr. Williams, who was the vice principal. And I will always forever be grateful to Mr. Williams because I got in a fight and I didn't get suspended. Typically, you get in a fight, you get suspended. But I was an A student. But you know, the rules are the rules. But he did not do that. And that's just a reminder too. Not every white person is your enemy. Not every black person is your friend. I've said it once, I say it again. There are a bunch of black people I will push in the harbor, right along with Trump, Dan Cox, and those people that climb the walls of the Capitol, acting like treasonous, sore losers from the Confederacy. I'll push them all in the harbor. Not to drown them, just to let them take a bath in that dirty water. Get involved in your community. Maybe you don't have a community association, but you have a block association. Let me tell you something. When 5 people, and I take issue with those people that think we, the citizens of Baltimore, have nothing else better to do with our time than call 311 all day. I'm calling you one time. When they send me that bill for that tax, it's a one time. When they send me that gas and electric bill, it's one time. And then you get the cutoff notice. You know what I'm talking about. I called you about this bus on Fremont Avenue. Every excuse in the world. People doing everything in there. Sex, drugs, drinking, everything. Everything. It's been easily 4 months. And they know about it. Now, recently they put the little sticker on the window Why does it take so long to get stuff done in Baltimore? Do we have a process for getting stuff done? Is it too much? Is it too much to handle? Is it just too much? Or is it people don't want to do their job? I know this, and this is not on any one mayor. This is across the board. When I go down to the municipal building to pay a bill, come to that goddamn counter with a smile on your face and happy that I'm there. What you want? No. What you come again? You feel me? We are the number one customer, the citizens. And I ain't talking about this man, the last man. I'm talking about anybody working for city government ought to be nice to people. And if you're black and you got an attitude, stay your ass home. You gonna be down there serving people, then come to the counter with a smile and be grateful. If you don't want the job, then leave. I'm pretty certain we can find somebody who can replace you. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Thank you for coming in. How can I help you? It sets the tone. What you want? Next. Why don't you be the next one in the unemployment line? Got a new sheriff. I did want to get into that race. New sheriff, that's what it looked like. John Anderson is, I don't know how he's going to make a comeback from this deficit. Let me go back to election results. And I'm getting these results, off of Baltimore County. The Maryland State Board of Elections. Go to Google, Maryland State Board of Elections. And the election results are the very first thing to come up. So let's go down to, we want Baltimore City. Let's go down to the sheriff's race. So, and let me tell you something else. We never even talk about the judge of the circuit court. Eric Attas, Charles Mario Blomquist, Myshala Middleton, Barry Williams. These are judges of the circuit court. We vote for 4 of them, and none of us know who the hell these people are. Clerk of the court, again, Xavier Conaway. That's Frank Conaway's grandson. But now I see Lenora made a move. Lenore Dawson, and she had really nice graphics. I want to tell you, we had one advertiser and their graphics were not that great, but Lenore had professional graphics. Lenore only missed by 263, and she lost Xavier Conaway. People still remember the Conaway name. Frank M. Conaway Sr. branded the Conaway name. So you got 3 generations of Conaways in business. His daughter, Belinda, she's the Register of Wills. And she got a total of 57,000 votes. If she were ambitious, she could take that 57,000 votes and run for a different office. But I don't think she will. She could. She got name recognition. I just don't think she will. Joan Pratt, my CPA and accountant. If you need an accountant, go to Joan Pratt, 1900 East Northern Parkway. If you're in business, do your damn taxes. Don't be like me and be slow. Get to your taxes. It'll help you stay ahead of things. But if you're slow, it's okay. If you didn't file, it's okay. Just go to Joan Pratt. Get back in your rhythm. It happens to people. I went for years. They messing with my bank account and all of that stuff, IRS, blah, blah, blah. Just get back on track as soon as you can. What they tell you at church, if you leave this church, you move as soon as you can. Get associated with another church, mosque, synagogue, what have you. You get the drift. Clerk of the court, Register of Wills, State's Attorney. Now, let's go to this. I noticed on the news yesterday that Vigna Raja's numbers superseded Maryland. He got 1,000, like 1,500 more votes than her. Now, Alvin got 32,000. Let me tell you about these provisional ballots. the winners did well with the mail-in ballots. Ivan Bates did very, very well. He did exceptionally. He did better than everybody on the mail-in ballots. Some races are still being determined, like Baltimore County State's Attorney. That race is still counting mail-in ballots. They have a certain, as long as your ballot is in by the election day cutoff, they have to count your ballots. And so this race, let's go out there to Baltimore County and see what it looks like. One thing I can tell you about Baltimore County is that I've seen them count the votes to the number. Johnny Olszewski won that last election by 17 votes. So let me see about the state's attorney's race out there in Baltimore County. So right now, Schellenberger is up. At first, Robbie Leonard was up. He's supposed to be the progressive, whatever the hell that means. I laugh at that like I laugh at people talking about they civil rights leaders. Because I ain't never seen nobody fighting no damn civil rights. Nowhere. Not in Baltimore. Okay, Robbie Leonard's got 40,529. Schellenberger is winning 42,322. You know, one thing about Baltimore County, they don't play that crime and murder and mayhem out there. They have a more unified front. Now, of course, Baltimore City deals with a lot more madness, and we're not afforded the comfort of doing all we like. Baltimore has more need. Baltimore County don't play that. So people, if you're going to commit a crime, you might want to avoid Baltimore County. And the way Baltimore City is going, you're going to need to start avoiding Baltimore City. I'm going to lock your hind parts up. Because Baltimore is ridiculous. I've never seen people roll weed and have a conversation with cops all at the same time. I just wasn't from that generation. Discretion is the better part of valor. We got cats in lawn chairs sitting on corners. When did sitting on a corner become a fad? Women, I see it with my own eyes. Pull out the lounge chair and sit on the avenue. I have other things I would rather be looking at than what I see on the avenue. I mean, that's just not where I'm going to kick back my heels and relax. Maybe out Druid Hill Park, overlooking the reservoir, but on the avenue. Where you get that at? Where you learn that at? Anyway, I think I did enough rambling. Went a whole 50 minutes. Didn't know I could talk that long by myself. And I hope you are well. Let's get some of these comments up. Erica Morgan, good morning. Michael Haney's calling shots from. Are your grandkids, Mike? I ain't talking about this mayor. Y'all can talk about him. The election a whole year and a half. You gotta let the man do his job. Heidi says they want their cake and eat it too. Erica. Yeah. A lot of childhood trauma in Baltimore that's swept under the rug. Okay, folks. Well, again, get involved in your community. It's your community. It's my community. I got some neighbors. They don't stick their head out for nothing. And you old people you got beds and stuff, and you're out here popping firecrackers. You need a life. The kids are looking up to you, and we haven't heard nothing lately, thank God. Well, we got a cat live right behind me. You think I don't know who he is? And one day I might call him out. Grown man popping firecrackers. Really? All the time. Ooh, then you got to worry about your roof catching on fire. But that's life in the city. I thought about moving. I don't know where I would go. Baltimore's my speed. I like the crab cakes. I like the clams on the half shell. Like great seafood, rockfish. Call it striped bass. The people a little mean here, though. We got to be more kind, more loving. Oh, there's no way I could get off the air today. Got 8 minutes. Now we're 10 minutes late. Without mentioning my evening last night. I had a talk with a classmate of mine from elementary school, Deneen Fassett. She's a year older than me. The kindest lady. She's always talking about her pastor, whomever it should be, because she's had 2 or 3 over the past 20 years or so. But her pastor now is the one and only P.M. Smith. And she and I were just talking about P.M. Smith Moreland Avenue in the house. I used to be on the news, and they bumped me. I think Martin O'Malley put up, but he ain't got no rhythm here no more. I don't know what it was, Chuck. And then people, personnel change. You bring in new people. Yeah, Baltimore got some stuff with it. P.M. Smith was over on the avenue and his church, Huber Memorial. And I had never been to the new church until Julius Henson's sister was funeralized there. Beautiful church. And PM absolutely deserves it. I first learned about PM through Kenny Harris. God rest his soul. Councilman Kenny Harris, the biggest supporter of Be More News. But Deneen and I were talking, and I've said to her, as I've said many times in the past, despite all of the churches on Pennsylvania Avenue, P.M. Smith, who lives all the way in Northeast Baltimore, he is a true East Sider too, true East Sider. All the way in Northeast Baltimore. He sees the need here on Pennsylvania Avenue. But we got all of these Reverend Dr. So-and-so and Martin Luther Johnson and, Bishop Ichabod and priest this and that. All of these preachers of the faith. And me and PM have not always agreed. Matter of fact, when Kenny was alive, there was a little disagreement. I thought one thing for Kenny, he thought another, blah, blah, blah. You ain't supposed to agree on everything. But nobody has come to Pennsylvania Avenue, all the way from Northeast Baltimore. He was not alone. He had the sisters in the van, a van with the sisters. The brothers standing on point. It's so wonderful to see P.M. Smith on historic Pennsylvania Avenue. I was coming out of the train from downtown at Darken and Blue, went down there to get some wings. And he said that he was going to give me, he said, where you going? I said, I'm going to the store and then I'm going home. Well, he told me cut that trip to the store short and he was going to give me a ride home. We came on around. But he is the only pastor who consistently brings his congregation out to Pennsylvania Avenue. We love this man. We love his every fiber because he is nothing but Baltimore. And when he does go on the news, you can rest assured nobody is going to put any words in P.M. Smith's mouth. Nobody. Nobody's going to trick him into saying some dumb stuff. Because some people will go on TV to say anything. PM is no nonsense. He's a father figure to many people, a leader who loves his people. He don't play. Big ups to PM Smith. I'm thinking of another pastor. We lost him in the past year. So Bishop Doug Miles. He was a very active pastor. Koinonia, married to Rosanna. Beautiful family, children, grandchildren. Bishop Doug Miles was heavily responsible for Build, Baltimoreans United in Leadership Development, and Build put all of these Nehemiah houses that are behind my house, 300, 400 of those houses back during the Schmoke administration. That's the last time we really saw any development, was during the Kurt Schmoke administration. Say what you want about Kurt Schmoke. He invested in Sandtown. The only one. Sheila Dixon closed down our community center. I ain't gonna never forget that. Everybody got excuses for Sandtown. We don't forget about that. You will not get our vote dissing Sandtown. And we'll put you on blast. Damn sure will. Try us. Mary Miller came around here during the election, did a commercial in front of Western District Police Station. Have you bumped your damn head, lady? That is not the place to endear yourself to the black community, standing in front of Western District. Where they do that at? Clearly, she don't know. You can't teach what you don't know. You can't rule where you don't go. You can't get votes where you don't put in time. Vigna Raja, glad he lost. For me, it was anybody but Freak Nasty. We're tired of people coming in thinking they know us. Jay Jalisi, Al Randallstown, same thing. They both happen to be from the India diaspora. But these two individuals in particular got this little shiesty attitude toward black people. Give us a piece of cake. Give us some oodles or noodles. Give us $500 and a piece of fried chicken and we'll vote for you. No, we won't. My name's Donnie Glover, and you have a powerful day. Talk to you next time. Stay tuned for William Honblue, BlackUSA.News Morning Show. I'm going to walk Pharaoh.